Megumi is finally free to the public with this new update, and with it, the Megumipopcalypse has begun. So have fun with your public servers now infested by Megumi users crawling around like rats. Joking aside, this new update is a relatively small one, but it does add in some important stuff, the most notable of it being Megumi's conversion to a free character, and Mahito getting a new ultimate move. This video will cover every awakening as well as my general thoughts on them, but before we get into that, go ahead and hit the subscribe button for even more Jujutsu Shenanigans information. Now, let's get into the video. The GUI for private server commands has changed. Instead of being a sidebar, it's a big menu on your screen. Megumi is now free to the public. Mahito has a new awakening move called Transfiguration. It does a dash grab and has a gimmick where the first hit marks a target, and on a second hit, on a marked target, they instantly die after about 4 seconds. It also removes a move from the person hit. You can very slightly change your trajectory while ragdolled by moving. There's a new emote. Neon parts in build mode now glow. Nue is back to normal, with a normal version where you simply have the bird airstrike someone, and the variant where you ride the bird while airstrike someone. Nue can no longer be countered. Getting hit during rabbit escape stops the rabbits from spawning. Voice chat range was increased. The effectiveness of self-embodiment of perfection was reduced. Finally, aerial stockpile was converted into a guard break. Generally, this update is on the smaller side. There isn't too much for me to talk about, considering there's only one notable content update and a few interesting changes. But that doesn't mean it's a meaningless update at all. Let's start with discussing Mahito's new move. The new Mahito move in a nutshell is kind of wonky. The whole gimmick of being able to instantly kill someone if you hit them twice is unique, sure, but there's a lot of problems that make it more gimmicky than good. Though I have to say that a lot of that stems from Mahito being incredibly unfinished in terms of his awakening. You get about 2 uses of the move in your awakening, and I believe you can squeeze out 3, though it's not practical since you need to take time to get into position so that you can land the move. The move itself doesn't really have much effect on the first hit, doing minimal damage to both you and your target, and while it does take a move away from them, that's also a bit of a minimal impact when other awakenings can capitalize off of one hit to pull off a one-shot combo and just straight up kill whoever they tag. There's also a long cooldown on the move that makes any time between your first hit and your second hit this long period where you're basically just cooldown stalling to try and get your move back, and in that time period, your awakening is running out. Also, if one of your uses of the move fails, then you might as well kiss goodbye to your one-shot since you only get 2 chances to use it. I wouldn't buff or change the move at all, but I can't call it a good awakening move since it's a move where you need to do a lot of stalling. In an awakening, where usually the whole point is that the person in their awakening needs to put the pressure on the opponent and not stall so that they can get the most value out of it. If Mahito gets other moves that deal decent damage, they'll also probably render this move obsolete, since in the time you need to get that second use of the move back, Mahito, with whatever other awakening moves he gets, should be able to easily kill whoever he's fighting. Even outside of duels, which is the perspective I normally look at, I don't see the move being great. Since the move works by tagging one person and then tagging them again for an instant kill, you can't use it on multiple people or anything. And just add on to that the fact that Mahito doesn't really have any other moves, and it kind of just makes Mahito's awakening about the same level as any other character if you strip them of all of their moves. Mahito's awakening to me feels like what would happen if you gave a character trump cards for all your moves. Like wow, you have a bunch of cool instant kill conditionals, but you have no neutral game, no way to easily achieve your conditionals, and nothing to fall back on if your conditionals fail because you are nothing but your conditionals. No normal moves, just gimmicky one-shots. I have a feeling this might not just be because Mahito is unfinished, and could be because of Z trying to make this a gimmick for Mahito's awakening, and I really don't see that going in a good direction personally. The downtime period after you've used up all your moves and are just waiting for your awakening to end so you can actually fight again is so boring to me because you just spend all of that time either stalling or trying to punch your opponent to death while they maul you with all of their moves. It's just not a very fun gimmick in my opinion. Aside from that, the new GUI for private server commands is interesting. It'll take me some time to get used to, and I can see some people not liking it since it takes up your whole screen, but I think it's cool personally. It's a very subjective thing, so let me know what you all think in the comments. The nerf to rabbit escape basically acts as a nerf to Megumi's zoning. If Megumi is careless and uses rabbit escape right before someone tries to hit him, he doesn't get to have the rabbits keep on dealing chip damage. He just gets interrupted and punished. I think it's a fair nerf that really isn't going to matter that much, since you really shouldn't be getting hit while your rabbits are on the ground anyways, and with the previous change of how their stun worked, even if you were hit while the rabbits were active, you'd still get comboed. It's a very minor nerf honestly, and one I don't think will have that much impact, since if you aren't being incredibly stupid, you are not getting hit while rabbit escape is active. Nui going back to normal is cool with me. It buffs Megumi's zoning a little bit, since he's no longer forced to go along with the attack, but there's enough counterplay to it so that's no problem at all. More options is cool in my opinion. Making it no longer counterable is a weird decision though. It'll only apply to Manji Kick, since only an idiot would try to counter Nue with Shutter Doors, and I sort of get the thought behind that. With how slow Nue is, it'd be a free counter for any Yuji player. However, I think that's fair, since it would force a Megumi user to be more careful of how to use Nue and not just throw it out carelessly. I don't see it making a huge difference, but it does hurt Yuji's ability to clap close against Megumi's zoning with the counter. Finally, Stockpile being able to guard break just makes the move more useful. I still don't use it because of low damage and the fact that Mahito has plenty of easy ways to get combos without having to compromise for some ragdoll, but it does at least make the move usable. It's got way too much startup for the move to be a blockable one, so I'm glad it's a guard break now. With that, this discussion about the update is over. Overall, it's a good update, but I only really see people caring about Megumi being free, considering how small the other stuff is. That's not to say the small stuff is bad though, it's pretty cool overall. However, this update is on the smaller side. Anyways, that's all I have to say. If you like this video, take the time to subscribe to my YouTube channel for even more JDS content, and I'll see you next time in another video. Have a good day, and bye.